Alrighty, we're renovating a luxury apartment complex, and we have some light switches that are all painted up and they're yucky looking, and we have some older ones that snap when you turn it on and off. So we're going to put some nice brand new quiet switches in. Here in the country I was born in, we use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare and the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a switch loop or a 220-240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. So I'll show you how to replace some light switches, and there's going to be nice new ones in here. The building is an older building. It was probably built before the turn of the century. And the wiring was probably put in maybe 10 years ago, but everything got painted, and people painted over the switches and outlets, and you don't want to paint over them. So we're going to put in nice brand new ones. There's the switches. They're all painted up and yucky looking. When you do painting, you're supposed to put painter's tape over your switches and outlets. And they use the wrong screw for the cover, because you could hit a wire with those longer screws. So I'm trying to get the cover off. And we'll unscrew our devices here. We'll save our screws. These are good screws. We're always needing these 632 screws. You don't put the black wire on the green screw. So we'll take that off. And we'll cap it off. And we'll put our red and white on the switch. They did a pretty sloppy job hooking this switch up. Never use black as a ground. That's a live wire, and that's probably why somebody could have gotten a shock from this switch. We'll take our other one out and see what they did on this one. So they put the whites together like you're supposed to, and the grounds together like you're supposed to. And wow, look how sloppy they did with this. I'll bring the camera up close so you can see. See how poor that connection was? Okay, so we'll first take this black wire that was hooked up to the live, and we'll just cut it back here so there's only a little bit of copper showing here. We'll take our pliers, and I don't know why somebody wanted to make that side of that switch live. So we're going to put a orange wire nut on the end of this wire, and we'll make that safely capped off here. And we'll fold this back into our box so it's out of our way of everything here. We'll get back behind the ground wire and have it up there out of the way. There, now it's out of our way. We're going to take a knife because they put some paneling over this box. So I'll cut this paneling a little bit more here. side here. Now the box will come out straight, so when we screw our switches in, they'll sit flush. There we go. Now we'll have our box, the edge of our box there showing, so our switches will fit nice and flush. Okay, so we'll hook our first switch back up. This is just a single pole switch. So we'll take and we'll strip them back just a little longer here. Take one of our switches here. There's no green screw on it, so we don't have to worry about putting a bare wire on the ground screw. So there it is, nice and tight. Let them lay, don't get upset, just let them lay. Okay. Make sure it's nice and tight. We have a nice solid connection like that. Now we can fold these wires into our box. We'll go up with our red and down with our white. We'll just get it back in here out of our way. Now when we put the cover on here, that both switches will be nice and flush. Now these switches have nice plaster ears to come up and meet the paneling, so they will seat flush. Okay, this one, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take off of one of the outlets we took off. I'm going to break off a couple of the, oh, here's the plaster here. I can take one off. I can take the, oh, this doesn't have the, you can use the plaster ears off of older switches and outlets that you're not using. Here's one, I'll use this one here. I'll take a couple off of this one. Maybe 3 will do it. You can use washers. Now these switches will fit nice and flush. Okay, now it's nice and flush with the paneling here. And I'll get it centered here. So after they're done painting, we'll put a brand new cover on it. Okay, we'll unhook this switch we're taking out. There's that very poor connection I showed you. That switch doesn't even sound right. And we'll look at the white wires, see how they did putting these white wires together. Hey, they did pretty good. So we'll get them back together, put our cap on nice and tight. We can fold this back into our box. Get it out of our way. And hook our 2 black wires on our new switch we're going to put in here. have a nice clean strip on the end. See, they stripped these with a pocket knife, so I'm going to clean these off so we have a nice clean strip. And I'll put the end off here where it's mutilated a little bit. Now it doesn't matter which two screws you use to put your wires on. It's just a single pole switch. So this switch is wired before the light. The power comes to this one first. And the other one, the power goes, this one over here, the power went to the light first and comes to the switch. Make sure it's nice and snug. You always put your wire around the screw the direction the screw turns. Make sure it's nice and tight. We have a nice solid connection like that there. That's what we want. Now we can put our wires back into our box. Get them back out of the way here. And you'll see if these, okay, those plaster ears are a little bit too low, so I'm going to grab another outlet we're not using and we'll get some washers and shim it out so when the device is screwed in it'll be nice and flat. I have a couple washers in here. Well, I found a nice 832 nut. That'll be just the right length for this. Now our switches will sit nice and flush when we put the covers on, and they'll look right. And they sound good too. So that is how to wire light switches here in the country I was born in. And how what we found was how not to wire a light switch. They had a live wire hooked to the ground, making the yoke of that switch live. So, and that was an extra circuit that's not being used. So we capped it off and put the new switch in the right way. Peace. Thanks for watching. Now, if the switch does have a yoke for the green screw, with the green screw, we saw those ground wires pigtailed to get wire nutted together. We would run a tail from that to the green screw. But this switch did not have that, so we don't have to do that.